The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2026 early summer edition of The Local Show.
Woo-hoo, summer.
Yeah, early. I'm your host, Tom Sicoscio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. You know, in every episode, we dive into captivating conversations with Syracuse's movers and shakers, like business owners and top executives, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and a bunch more. So you brace yourself for jaw-dropping business insights and success stories. The Local Show will shine the light on those business visionaries, turning Syracuse into the ultimate hub for work, life, and new opportunities. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, brought to you by Victory in Motion, the home of knee repair, not knee replacement. And you can see us on YouTube. Just look up Zoe Advertising. Maybe you will see Steve drop something on the floor again. You never know.
You drop one big box of donuts and you're a donut dropper.
For those of you who haven't seen, get over to the YouTube and check out last week's show.
It was somebody cut the box. It was Jody.
Well, it was your sister who sabotaged you.
I was set up. I don't need help usually being Mr. Bungles. That's what my brother calls me.
I'm still trying to figure out how a pen exploded. I haven't seen a pen explode in 30 years.
Yeah, I think I was bending it and stuff or something.
Oh, yes. That would be you. Yeah.
And boom, there it goes. Yes, yeah, there it goes. So, yeah.
All right, well, we've got a great show for you, folks. You can relax as you're getting your camps open up, everything like that. Sergeant Thomas Blake is with us right now, one of Syracuse's finest. Syracuse Police Department, how are you?
I'm doing great this morning. Thank you. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for being here. So what drew you to law enforcement? Are you a Syracuse native at all?
Actually, I'm from Malone, New York, which you may have heard of.
Malone.
All the
Way up there.
One minute to Canada. I mean, you go past Messina another half hour, it's out there.
I haven't been to Malone, but I've been to, where's the Desperado Inn? Ogdensburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
go
that's
2
almost
hours past that.
It's a lot farther, actually.
That's what. Is that by Watertown? Like, no.
Yeah.
2.5 hours past Watertown. It's quite
Messina's 3 hours. I used to go to Messina a bunch for work, and then Malone is the next stop.
That's right. Yeah, about 45 minutes.
What brought you down this way then?
Family.
To Syracuse.
So my mother moved us down here when I was about 5, down to the Mohawk Valley.
Okay,
and then I, moved down to the Carolinas for a while. I was a trooper down in South Carolina for about 3 years.
A state trooper?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then came back here September 11th of 2009. I've been here ever since.
Very good. Very good. Well, you guys do a wonderful job. Kind of tough to be a cop over the past, I would say, 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. All the controversy here and there, and you guys are out there risking life and limb all the time.
That's right.
And I don't think people really understand that when you leave that house.
And I don't think they get the respect. Police get the respect that when I was a kid, yes sir, no sir. You had that. Now it's like to some people, not to me, but to some people, they automatically think things that are negative.
I can remember from the middle to late 70s, officer friendly coming in, and that term officer friendly stuck for years and years.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And it's true. And my son's a cop in the Air Force. Yeah. And when he was looking, he's like, so I want to, and they wanted to, he's in Charleston right now. They wanted to hire him. He's like, I don't want it. It became much more difficult for him to grasp it. Yeah. And he's got all the credentials and they were ready to hire him. So he's like, not yet. And so it takes the right kind of person, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. He's a security forces member?
He was security forces. Yep.
Yeah, very good. I did that too.
Oh, did you really?
Air Force,
very nice.
Prior to being a police officer.
So did you travel in the world a bit?
Not any place of any notoriety.
Okay.
No, primarily stateside stuff. I was activated twice, once during Enduring Freedom, and then once shortly after that, about a year later.
Mm-hmm. He was at Mountain Home Air Force Base out in Idaho for a while. He was on the West Coast, and he did Japan, and he did Qatar, or is it Qatar? It depends who you ask.
Qatar, yeah, usually, yeah. So how many years have you been on the force?
For here at Syracuse, 16 and a half years.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And what's a sergeant do? What's your day-to-day task look like?
Well, up until 2 weeks ago, I would supervise a number of officers assigned to the patrol division throughout a shift. I would come in and get them ready for the day, hold roll call training, and then throughout the day monitor calls, sign police reports, show up at major calls, shootings, robbery, stabbing, city liability stuff, things of that nature. Anytime a use of force occurs, I would come out for that as well to start the initial investigation for it. So there's a lot of roles and responsibilities with the sergeant.
You're not just sitting behind a desk by any means.
Well, up until 2 weeks ago, that's correct. Now I do the public information stuff full time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you're the communicator.
Correct.
Is that fair?
That's
Somebody
fair to
says,
say.
"What happened?" Talk to you. That's where things point. Is
Yeah,
that fair?
probably more fair to say the one who relays information as opposed to generates it a lot of times.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, but that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. And I think my buddy there, Tony Diglio, he used to run the McGruff the crime dog thing.
I remember that.
Do you have somebody else who's doing that now? Because he's out.
We don't have it anymore.
No?
I wish we did, but the DARE program is not prevalent as it used to be. We don't really have much going on with the DARE program, and that we haven't seen that dog in a number of years, unfortunately. But maybe something we could bring back at some point.
Right. All right. So one of the things that you're here to talk about, and we'll start. We're going to keep you over for a couple of sessions here because there's so much to talk about. Is this e-bike situation? Now, when I was a kid, Mom would say, "Get out there and get some exercise. Pedal that bike, and
Well, that's how you got to point B. Nobody was carting you around.
Right, and we
take
would
an Uber.
I grew up in the valley by Green Hills Farms, and you just would drive your bike all over the place, riding down the creek bank and all that. So e-bikes are a bit of a problem, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say so. First and foremost, they are a great mode of transportation when used responsibly. We know that VO has a large footprint here in Syracuse. You'll see those VO bikes all over the place.
And those are the
the city bikes,
the,
right?
the ones in the city. So
Gotcha.
that's a company that comes in. They have an agreement with the city, and great for getting from one side of the city to the other. And as we expand, certainly with the 81 project, there's going to be more green areas, and there's going to be more reliance upon pedestrian and traffic like bicycles and e-bikes and so on. So great tool when used appropriately. What you are seeing, though, in addition to that, is the e-bikes that are available online that people are buying. And I think that's the area. It's a bit of an unknown.
Let's unpack that after the break. Sergeant Thomas Blake will come back after the break, and we'll talk more about e-bikes and some other things. Sounds good.
The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We are back on The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, otherwise known as the Steve Emporium.
Yeah, Tom. When I'm not here, you guys nobody even notices. Everybody knows you're the.
Oh, I noticed because we throw a big party.
The golden voice, and the button presser, and I'm the guy that drops the donuts over here. So.
Have you started your walking regimen yet?
Yeah, well, I've been watching those videos on, was it Tai Chi?
Yes, Tai Chi walking.
I'm going to become that guy.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to get fit and then wake up fit and Asian. Both. I don't know. Wake up with a different.
There's a bunch of stuff in my backyard that's left by the dogs.
I know that.
Yes. It's a mounds of poop.
Yeah.
And that and Tai Chi walking are the same thing. just so we're clear. Nobody gets ripped like that from walking. Okay.
I don't know.
You're going to the gym and you're probably injecting something.
Somebody's doing. They keep running. They're making money out of it or something.
Oh yeah, they're smart. They are smart. Look, we've been talking with Sergeant Thomas Blake over at the Syracuse Police Department. And Sergeant, thank you once again for being here. One of the big problems I'm seeing up in my area, which is the whole Cicero block from Route 11 to the pastures and all that up and down 31, a tremendous, not just a few, e-bikes, but groups of kids who have now looked like the Hell's Angels at 15 and 14.
These are all
13.
e-bikes. So
They're
motorcycles
all-
used to be a deal.
Right.
But these are all electronic.
These are electronic bikes, and they run the gamut from the class 1s up to the class 3s because they're going close to 25, 30 miles an hour down my street. And we had one incident up by Gillette Road Middle School on South Bay Road, for those people who know that area. Kid was flattened right out on the ground. Now, I think he survived because I saw that they were medics were lifting his head up and everything, and he was talking. We went by real slow, but yeah, he got hit. What's going on with this and why?
Well, there's a number of factors. So the manufacturers of these e-bikes, as they become popular, have expanded significantly. And so the bikes that are recognized that we're talking about e-bikes here in New York State, we're talking about 3 classes generally. Falls under class 1, class 2, or class 3. A lot of these other ones that you're seeing out there, they don't meet the definition of an e-bike. So remember, if you think about an e-bikes in terms of a bicycle with some kind of an electronic assist for the drive, that's an e-bike. Some of these other ones you're seeing out there that are going considerably faster than the maximum speed limit allowed under the classifications.
Which is what?
20 miles an hour for class 1 and class 2, 25 miles an hour for class 3. Some of these new bikes coming out, one of the big manufacturers out there is hay bikes, for example. Some of these are capable of going 50 miles an hour.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. These are not, by any means, are these
Do they
e-bikes.
Are they like a golf cart, Tom?
Yeah, are they
used
able
back
to
in the
be
day,
modified?
they would have a thingy, a screw.
sure.
They would put down so you could only go so fast. But
governor, yes.
The governor. But many of us, other people, of course, knew that if you backed that screw up, they could go faster.
Oh, my cousin learned that the hard way on a 3-wheeler. He backed it off and hit a trailer and busted his nose.
There we go.
So, yeah, wherever there's rules, in fact, somebody's going to try to break them, right?
Yeah.
So with some of these bikes, so remember in New York State, 750 watts, that's as high as you can go as far as being classified as an e-bike. Some of these other bikes you're buying, upwards of 5,000 watts.
So they're a motorcycle. They're an electric motorcycle.
They're an electric motorcycle by definition, and once you get up to those kind of numbers, they're supposed to be registered and insured and all that. But they're not. They don't meet the definition of something that can be registered. So at that point, you're looking at they're basically ATVs. They can't be used on public.
And let me
roadways.
ask you this: on any of the classifications of these electronic bikes, should you have a helmet on?
Absolutely. So is it law? Not always.
Okay.
It's situationally dependent. However, always, right? So if you're out there operating, if you're on the street, whether it be a bicycle or an e-bike, you should have a helmet. And the other thing that's important to do, and parents need to know this, you need to be 16 to operate an e-bike. In fact,
the kids I'm seeing are well below that.
Well below it. In fact, with VO, they even say that it's 18. 18 and above.
So how can you regulate that? Because the bottom line is you don't want people to get hurt. You don't want it to be dangerous. How can the police help manage that, or how can the community help manage that?
Well, it's about education. So you could certainly have, obviously when you think about police, you think about that enforcement component, issuing tickets and so on. But really, there's an education part to it as well. Parents may not know what they're buying or what their kids are going out and buying on their own. These e-bikes have become cheaper and cheaper. It's for $1,000 now, you can buy what's classified by the manufacturer as an e-bike, a machine that's very capable of going 50 miles an hour and getting there very quickly.
Wow.
Does it need a license plate?
Well, it's supposed to, but they're not able to be registered in New York State. So it's an interesting dynamic. Yeah. So if you're buying a bike like that, keep in mind it's meant to be used on private property and not on public roadways.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The class 3, the classification of class 3 e-bike is not legal in New York State.
It is, but you don't see them much here in central New York. Where you see a class 3 bike is down in New York City or large major metropolitan areas. So so remember, those are the ones that will go 25 miles an hour. The Class 2 is primarily those commercially available bikes that you see in almost every city. Generally, that's a Class 2. So it's typically it has pedals, doesn't have to by definition, can have just a throttle as well. But the maximum speed on those 20 miles an hour.
So the one that I saw go up and down our street had to be going 30 miles an hour, at least 30 miles an hour, had a boom box, a boom speaker, I should say, a JBL, strapped to the center steering. And it was a scooter. So not only am I seeing the e-bikes, but these electronic scooters that are doing 30 miles an hour.
Just because my message is just because you can go online to Amazon or one of these other retailers and buy it doesn't mean it's legal to be operating on a public roadway.
So how do you regulate that? That's got to be a challenge.
It is. It's something that we're facing now, and certainly as something becomes popular and more people buy it, the laws have to catch up. But with e-bikes, you follow the same rules that you would if you're operating a bicycle. You're required to stop at a stop sign. You're required to stop at a red light. You're required to go with the flow of traffic. The same laws that you would have that govern bicycles are so true of e-bikes. It's just some of these other ones are very high performance vehicles that are out there, and they're being operated recklessly by folks that have very little to no driving experience, who are at an age where they are maybe not necessarily thinking in the way that somebody would that's got some time on, right? So a 12-year-old is not going to process information the same way an 18 or a 20-year-old would. So you're putting in driver inexperience, driver inattention, as you already alluded to. Somebody's got a speaker on the front of that.
Sure.
If that's not a distraction, and then you have the motorist component as well. I mean, if you're driving down the road, you're not expecting to somebody come flying against your path of travel at 30 or 40 miles an hour. You're not. We haven't seen it enough to where drivers are expecting, and you shouldn't have to. I mean, kids shouldn't be darting out in front of you on electric.
People getting hurt.
Yeah,
people are getting hurt a lot, and not only that, I will tell you just from driving around, I see this all the time. I see people they're not even slowing down; they're going right through red lights, 20, 30 miles an hour without even.
But then
hitting
what
the
do you
brakes.
do? You stop if you were to talk to them, stop them. Now you're the bad guy. Right,
Yep.
and you're so how do you weigh that? Because that's a challenge, right?
Well, we're always going to default to public safety. So whether somebody's upset about an interaction during a stop, or we're trying to improve an otherwise very dangerous situation, I firmly believe that we see that, and we do an action in a moment to educate, and if somebody's upset, I'm sorry, but that's just the nature of the beast. And the idea is that when we come into a situation, we're going to leave it safer than it was when we got there.
The other thing that I'm seeing is not one person on the bike. When I see the bikes, they're usually in a gaggle. They're 5 kids or 4 kids, and that makes it even more invasive to the regular driving experience for those of us in vehicles, right?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Whenever you have a group, because then when you have a group, then you have additional struggles.
Sure.
So now if you have 4 people, now you have 4 times the width that you would normally have. And then whenever you get kids together, there's always that competition portion of it as well. Well, let's race, let's do all this stuff. So you're adding in another layer or component to what's already a dangerous situation in the first place.
So what's the overall message that we want to send to the public right now?
Well, let me start with the parents. Know what your kids are buying, know the laws, know where they are and when they are doing what they're doing. And so it all comes back to parenting. That's where it starts. As parents, we need to make sure that our kids are being safe and responsible, and that we understand what it is that they're buying, operating, or riding.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir.